Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to TFTV for the 36th season of ETF2L, the second week with our wonderful triple header tonight. On TFTV1, we're having the game of SVIFT versus nerdRage. I am Surny, joined by Beater on the camera and eepily on the microphone. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like this is going to be a game to really pay attention to. These are like some big boy teams, right? Like these, I think, are already being predicted as two of the top four, if not top three teams currently in Prem. Obviously, Nurdrage got a bit of a legacy in terms of some of these players being together for the last few seasons, and obviously Swift, despite being basically official only at this point, have like the most ridiculously fat roster you have ever seen. Like they are goblining all of the pocket talent basically in Europe, putting it on one roster, then half the time not even playing with them. So I don't know. Like I think it's gonna be a really interesting game to see what happens, you know? Yeah, it is, right? Just like take all the good players, use them yourself.
Then don't actually play with them. Yeah, it's certainly something to look forward to. We won't even know who's playing until like a day before at most, so that's always nice as well. Speaking of, let's quickly talk about. We started with Swift. Let's might as well talk about them. Who's actually playing for him tonight? We obviously have Seeds on the medic. That's a set role. Nazboy on the demo man. Nubby on the roamer. And then with the rotation of pockets today, it seems to be that Captain has won that spot. And then you normally have the Americans on scout, but it appears that Tiger will actually just be jumping in for that today. And I don't know, I guess Slemnish is the other one that's playing scouts this time around, so interesting mix-up.
So last week they had Jay and Slem on Scout, who absolutely pounded, I would like to say. Unfortunately, seemingly for whatever reason, Jay can't play. And it's such a sad day where you're like, oh, we can't play with Jay, we'll have to play with Tiger, that'll have to do. I mean,
what a downgrade.
Yeah, like he's played the class a couple times, maybe like in some pugs or something, he'll be maybe fine. And then Captain, basically one of the best pockets to have ever touched the game, comes out of his retirement of stream-only gameplay to play a little official here as well, so... Yeah, it's kind of fat. It's kind of fat roster. Like any way you shape these players is always pretty good. And we're having a little look at things in terms of their warm-ups. In their first map of warm-up, we had like a 37 frag game for Slemness on Sunshine, so he's like feeling himself. On their second warm-up game on Granary, Nasboy went like 36 for 12 or something. Like he's absolutely pounding on Granary. And with like the rest of the players just being such a mixture of like ridiculously hot talent, it's like, yeah, it's crazy. It doesn't even matter that he don't play that much. But, I mean, that being said, we do still have Nurdrage, right? They're not like, you know, some random team full of like low prem players who aren't going to stand a chance at all. They've got some significant names as well. Do you want to run through that roster?
Sure, we'll have the standard roster that they've actually pretty much is unchanged for the past few seasons. As you said, we've got Shock on the medic, Alacor on the demo, the Mole, and Josh filling out the soldier roles, and Yeehaw and Kunu on the scouts. Obviously, Kuno also a very dangerous sniper. I'm surprised that we don't just put him as a sniper on TFTV at this point, but you never know.
This is true. He's got some of that star power himself. Little bit interesting though. We obviously saw previously in their week 1 games. So Swift did manage to win their week 1 game. They played versus Ascent. It was they won first map in a couple rounds advantage, second map by a 1 round advantage. So, you know, just by kind of winning out against Ascent there, still obviously very, very impressive considering their team, which doesn't play a great deal. Nurdrage, on the other hand, I mean, they did get 0 points, but it was by 1 round on each map, and it was against Aura Electro, like the third of like the top 3 best teams in Prem. So, you know, you're looking at results, you're seeing 0 points to 6 points. Oh, you know, maybe Swift's is just going to be like a better team. Not really a fair comparison to make, really. I think this is going to be a real test of like kind of pure star power against a team which has been working hard together, really trying to get like the fundamentals in the team play down. And I think that's what a lot of it will come down to. Because like whatever happens, Nurdrage can't walk into this game and be like, oh yeah, dude, we'll just DM them. Because like,
that's not going to happen.
Don't, like, no, that's stupid.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, as you said before the game started as well, if we look at the overall season, Swift have like almost all of their hard battles against the good teams or the better teams of Prem this season in like the first few weeks, and then it dies off a lot for them later down the line. And considering they're an official only team, most of the motivation that they will have to play, considering, you know, they already only play the officials, it was probably going to be in the first couple of weeks. So if they're going to be at their strongest, it would be around now. I mean, we saw it with them beating Ascent. They're probably going to be around their strongest at this point and get a little lazier later down the line. Maybe that's usually
Yeah.
what you expect from teams like that. So
That's
for the
that's
most
like the
part,
classic that's like the classic Prem player mentality when they're really keen for like 3 weeks, right? And then they either get bored or emo or some variation of both, and then they stop wanting to play by like week 5. So yeah, you want to get all your hard opponents right at the start, own them all, and then just like coast all the way through the playoffs, which I think Swift has got lucky with. So clearly, thanking Aoshi for that.
mm, that also
Mhm.
does mean though that if you're on the side of Nurdrage, you do have the ability to maybe just shake it off a little bit easier. Be like, even if they make playoffs and we make playoffs, they're gonna be lazy by the time they get there. So we might have an easier time later down the season. We'll see. Obviously, this is gonna be a quite an interesting matchup as we do appear to be starting off here. Players have readied up and the teams are getting going for our first round of Sunshine in the second week. Let's see how the teams try to approach this one right away. Nazboy a lot quicker, it seems, as Elicor. Actually, no, they're about the same. Let's see, no demo advantages here, but maybe some early cheeky picks here on either side. Both teams just being very passive right now, just looking at each other, staring each other down, looking to exchange that little bit of early damage. Tiger actually being the first aggression. Now, Captain bombing him with Slamdish into choke, but only finding the mole. They're gonna clean him up, but that's about it. Tiger's gonna die in turn. Captain's also gonna clean up by Josh too. Man on a 2k right now, fighting Slamdish. He's gonna trade with him. Meanwhile, everything else is getting cleaned up on mid, and it's basically it's just Seeds and Nazboy alive, and they're gonna have to run away somehow. Nazboy is stuck in behind, actually, so I'm surprised Seeds lives.
Huh. Well, that's a thing to see. That was so weird. Basically, just Demul just stood in choke like the entire mid, and then he got bombed by 2 players. Sure, he died, but then Josh just like farmed 3 players, and that was just the entire mid, right? Like Josh absolutely pounded. Now Nasboy's all the way behind. He's gonna get cleaned up because he's in their lobby for reasons no one's quite sure of. But in fairness, he acted as a distraction. We do have Seeds with his Uber. They are a player down. They don't have a Devilman to lock down this choke point, but you have got a lot of players to start trying to walk forward here. It looks like Slem kind of wants to take a bit of a trade here. He does back up just about, but so many players have just busted through on the flank. They have Demul all the way towards point. Does get cleaned up. Ubers are now getting traded in choke, and it looks like they're trying to make this a really scrappy fight on the side of Swift.
Absolutely. I mean, they've only lost Captain, and that was even before the Ubers were exchanged in the first place, and they managed to hang on to everything since, because both teams just, nobody really had a clear Uber advantage, obviously, and a clear better Uber, so it's just essentially a reset as we actually head into a pause immediately, it seems, unless my game has just crashed, which I don't assume is what happened, so...
It's not you, buddy. It is definitely
right.
a pause. We are grand total 2 minutes into our game, and it is going to be ourselves a little pause. No idea what it's going to be in relation to. Hopefully it's nothing significant, and we'll be able to get going pretty soon, because so far, nothing much has happened.
Yeah, you hate to kill your momentum early. I mean, what if just somebody crashed? I don't want to spell bad omens, but before the match started in the warm-up lobby, I did see Tiger crash out of the server once because of what I assumed to be his internet, because like the disconnect message wasn't just disconnected by user. So that could be what happened here. Maybe he crashed, but we're resuming immediately, so it can't be something that bad, I suppose. It's not as bad as whatever happened last week. We'll see. Yeah, overall, just the standard chokehold here. Both teams staring each other down for choke points, making sure nobody gets any cheeky openings, and waiting on their Uber charges. This is where teams might get a little frisky. They might try something a little bit more interesting.
I like frisky. I like the idea of the phrase frisky. Like, there's a decent amount of options here. Obviously, you can go for some aggressive plays towards the flank. We're seeing Josh pick up quite heavily into Cafe. It's possible for players just to get a buff on the side of Swift. We actually see a big deep bomb from Demul. Doesn't really get anywhere towards point at all. The scout jumps in it as well. Tries to get onto Seeds, not really connecting any of his shots at all. That's going to be a big boy 2-man sack for Nurdrage. Now they've got to be super, super aware of Swift's desire to start trying to walk through this choke board. We still have Elicor playing nice and close. He's seeing Shock's positioning, so he's not too obvious if he does try and get bombed, but he is actually going to get double bombed. Both soldiers jumping in. One's going behind, one's just going straight into them, taking a lot of damage. Captain's on the high ground, and both soldiers getting the high ground, getting the Uber forced, but still actually using it themselves on the side of Swift. They have good positioning. They've got to be really, really aware. And this is where the player disconnected. So that's super, super unfortunate for nerdRage. Actually going to lose mid purely based off that player. Damn.
That is unfortunate. Yes, okay. So it wasn't actually Tiger that crashed, so my prediction was unfortunately wrong. But yeah, that you hate to see that. Not only are you already on the losing end of the fight, but then probably because the player crashed, you just have to give up mid, even if you wanted to have the remotest chance of trying to contest it. And it obviously keeps rolling now. Trying to contest second is also going to be a little bit difficult when you're a player down. And that's exactly what's happening. Swift just rolling forward, essentially taking that point for free as well. And we're going to find ourselves on last. Both teams coming up on their Uber charges again. Seeing if, nerdRage can actually hold on to the point here. And make sure that they don't lose it.
Yeah, this will be, like I said, pretty much exactly equal. We see some aggressive play from some of the nerdRage players. We do see them all jump in, not really get anything too much, and now it's leaving left side really, really open. Swift to just absolutely just charge all the way in. They somehow managed to get Elacore, which is a disaster, because now all the point play in the world is open. No one's really towards that at all. Basically, everyone from the side of nerdRage is in spawn, and the scout is going to stand on the point. Uber down does get used, but it's going to be so much better for the side of Seed, flashing his all-important players just to keep people alive. Slemish does go down. It does turn into a bit of a 4v4, trying to play around the point, and it's actually just going to be some pretty poor positioning. That's why it's to do so much damage. But this is going to be nerdRage coming in clutch there, keeping a hold of that last point. That was super scary.
Definitely, that was a constant back and forth, the tug of war on that point. But ultimately, nerdRage just managed to dodge the damage slightly better, to stay alive slightly longer, and ultimately hold on to last. But we do have Slemish up on the sniper now, looking to maybe catch out a player here through flowers. It's a very, very cheeky, very tight angle. You don't get much when people are already on second, and ultimately obviously decided that wasn't going to net him much of an advantage. But he looks like he is committed to the sniper play, so he might open things up for his team here again. Nabi also very far forward, making sure nobody can catch them on surprise. And yeah, again, both teams just playing it passively, waiting on their Ubers, especially nerdRage here not willing to take any risks currently.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're aware of the sniper.
I mean, they're 100% going to know. They've been peeking choke the whole time, and Slemish was basically playing on Tetris for quite a while there. Like, the spawning of the sniper does so much for them, in that they had about 50% disad, but it's Sunshine, it's a big map. That sniper just prevents anything from nerdRage going too close. Slemish is now getting super deep, trying to get a cheeky peek, but Dickies from Elacore is just going to nuke him down into the dirt, and the follow-up from Demore is going to at least force the rest of these Swift players right outside of Valley. So it was a nice attempt from Swift, but ultimately these nerdRage players know a little bit too much how to play against a sniper on this point. Like I said, there are a couple weird angles you can go off, but it isn't the easiest thing in the world. It'll be interesting to see how nerdRage want to approach this to try and go through. Obviously, just a moment ago we saw Swift going super aggressive. Oh my days! That is going straight in. He tries to get the mean stream, gets one rocket. Doesn't force shock. Maybe we use 2 rockets. I don't know.
I was a little scared. I was just like flying around, having a look at mid and players approaching. I just see Navi going for that bomb fruit choke, flying in. Oh no, he's gonna whip out the shovel. Fortunately, he didn't get that. Well, fortunately for Shock, he didn't get that Market Garden. So we're looking to just look at a normal sack here. Demore did counter sack, and the teams are actually rolling in. Swift rolling forward. Slim's gonna pick up Kunu, gonna get cleaned up himself right after. And a lot of ground being taken by Swift. Josh is gonna get cleaned up. Yeehaw also dead. This is not looking good.
This is just large Willy gameplay from all of Swift. Like, they just kept walking in, right? Like, you saw Captain walking in from Cafe, just like, dude, I'm gonna take the big boy trade. I don't care at all. But then off that distraction, 2 other players like walked in. They were walking through choke. They were almost a little bit unlucky not to get those frags for free. Now the spawners are starting to come in from the side of nerdRage. It is better spawners for them, and the Swift aren't really caring at all. They're still playing forward. Now Captain bombs and doesn't quite get the force. Nasboy has to hightail away, but he keeps himself alive. They keep all of the Ubers up. Like, nerdRage have to get through this choke point super quickly before Nasboy can lock it down. Does look like the flank's going to push up, so like, they've got heals there, but they're just being kind of muted. Like, every time they try and push in a direction, somehow Swift are keeping control of things. Like, they're dealing with this pressure super well.
They really are. Like, all over, they're like swarming every single point just at the right time to pressure back nerdRage players before they can become a huge threat. And just like that, we're reset back again. Captain immediately taking it back into Cafe again with Tiger, and we're going to see if they maybe do the same thing here again, or at least go for an Uber exchange this time around. Josh going dangerously low, just trying to contest him. Demole actually going to bomb in. He's going to get onto the combo, and he's going to force off Seeds. Great rockets from him. Shock obviously nowhere near popping for himself just yet. He's actually going to just be able to hold on to safely. And as the rest of Swift has to back off again, Nubby's still forward, trying to go for a cheeky play. He's going to essentially trade with Josh, and Slem's just going to try to do any more damage that he can, obviously. That's going to get met with a death of his own.
That was super nice from Demol. Super good, like, recognizing that situation. Captain just tries to walk in again, but obviously that does leave that close choke kind of angle into Cafe. Completely open. Demol gets the freest bomb of his life. Super, super easy force. And purely based off that one play, they managed to get themselves control of mid. Now they have still about 50% advantage moving towards second. They can look to go hyper-aggressive or possibly try and take this for free. We do see Captain jumping towards high ground, getting a little bit of vision. Nubby with the follow-up does get straight in onto Shock. Easiest force of his life as well. As they're getting traded out. Slem is just a little bit far forward. Looks like he will have to try and escape. This is a hard repush if Swift want to try and hold it, but they do. And nerdRage have the fear. They didn't get on point. They didn't get on high, and now they're trying to desperately follow up with like a couple other players, but like it's way too late for that, right?
Yeah, that was very weird. I don't know why. Like, they had all the players pressured out. I suppose maybe Shock was counting Seeds Uber a little bit quicker or something, and maybe called for him to be more passive, because now Seeds is obviously up on his Uber. But that was extremely odd. They had them all pressured out and chose not to follow up on it or even try to put any pressure onto the point. So now they're on their second again. The Mole is going to be able to force off the Uber here again by just hiding in a great spot. But ultimately, we do have Josh hiding in the forward spawn, so maybe he's going to be able to do something cheeky here.
Oh, Josh, go on, mate. Go on, mate. Go on, mate. He's right there. He's walked in.
He sees him. He does it. Wonderful.
Very easy frag. This is big gameplay. Unfortunately, the rest of nerdRage seemingly want to try and feed towards lobby. Okay. Elicor's actually just getting walked up by a scout, but... Ooh,
nukes him down.
Stickies. Okay, that's pretty significant there. But actually, Nobby's in onto Shock. Takes a little bit damage. Surfs away. Nice surf onto point. And from that, they managed to pick up Captain as well. They lose Elicor, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it's Naspo and Seeds. I feel like you can be fairly certain they're not going to try and back up right now. Spawn is just only coming in. We do see Slem on Sniper again. It's going to be an easy retake of second for nerdRage. And, like, they need to start getting some momentum. Like, get it actually a couple points in a row instead of, like, kind of getting stopped at every single juncture by Swift here.
Yeah, I think the key players so far, at least for the first 10 or so minutes of this map, have been the soldiers for nerdRage here. Both of them, Josh and Demol, have been having huge plays, very crucial plays thus far. And if they can carry that momentum forward and maybe, you know, lead the team a little bit better here as well, we can definitely see them snowball forward a little bit more. They do pop into mid, meeting seemingly absolutely nobody whatsoever. Probably scared of the Slemnish Sniper again. And, ultimately just use it to essentially take mid for free, but now they're obviously going to find themselves at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Oh, Slemish is crazy. He is body shot the Devil Man. Demol is actually doing his best Div 6 impression of just hiding around the most obvious corners in the game. So he's died as well. There's a battle of the epic pockets on the back lines, which Josh is just firmly... Oh, he has now firmly lost. Okay. Yeah, quite a big difference there in terms of taking mid, in that Swift walk in, don't use Uber, and kill 3 people, and now they're walking forward on the second as well. Slightly better for them than what nerdRage happened, and they do still have a slight advantage to get in, maybe?
If they're aggressive enough, they could definitely make use of it, but it looks like with Slemish on the Sniper as well, they're gonna opt to not do that, but he does get a very deep angle here. Won't be able to actually hit anything with it, though. Gets spotted out soon enough, and they do have the counter snipe coming out of Kunu as well, to make sure that anybody that's trying to be cheeky, like that Slemnish fella, can be shut down before it becomes a huge threat. Tiger's actually going to get cleaned up. Being a little bit too aggressive, going to get nuked down by a little sticky trap, so that's a player down for them, essentially trading for Demol. And we're going to see these snipers just trying to win that peeking duel. Slemish looking to actually take down... Okay, I thought he was aiming at the sentry for a minute, but Kuna was just hiding behind it very, very cheekily.
Cheekily. I'm right here, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to keep seeing the peaks go on. I mean, I feel like right now, Kunu, he has a lot on his shoulder. See, right, he hits the headshot there. I was going to say, I feel like considering Slemish has like 80 more ping than him, it's kind of embarrassing if you lose that sniper 1v1, but we'll be winning it this time. That'll be pretty good. Little bind in chat just to show some dominance there from the side of nerdRage. He does be Swift, chilling nice and comfortable towards second point. It's been interesting that there's not been a great deal of momentum for either team. We do have a Demol spy. He's going to be getting all the way forward onto second now. Try and see if he can get in at a perfect little opportunity once they're trying to peek forward, but it's actually Swift. Then they've not got any off class. They might just look to try and go for some standard sacks, even a possible trade. Oh, and the ball's going to run in, backstab Tiger and just get away. Look at what a smooth criminal. What?
That's what your eternal reward. There was no sound. Nobody could immediately recognize. The only reason they noticed was because of the call. Probably when he said, "Yo, I just got backstabbed." That's probably the only reason why.
And he's
he's probably very confused. Yeah, definitely is as to why he was the target chosen there. But I mean, it worked out, I suppose. It made Swift back off a little bit and get scared of a spy for a minute.
I don't want to play against a Tiger Scout either, right? Like,
yeah,
you can deal with it.
Fair enough.
It's fine. Get him out the center.
It's a crucial pick. It's a power pick, so to say.
Alright, we're going to see them peek a little bit towards his left-hand side, but still having Elikor locked down his doorway just so well. No one's able to get for to spam this gun. And it's so difficult on this last to really get, like, a good soldier bomb in while this gun is, like, playing so far forward, right? Like, you're just going to get absolutely denied from lower, from left, from right. It's such a ridiculously powerful spot. So it's all about keeping control of things. You see Demul once again go in, feed his life away. He wants to make sure he has the worst possible logs. He's going to get nothing either. It makes you think. I feel like Swift isn't the kind of team that's just going to sit around forever. At some point, they're just going to feel obligated to even, like, you know, either go for, like, a trade or a three-man sack or just do something like that. They're looking to go top right. It is going to be looking to be a big old trade here. They do manage to actually pick up more instantly. They manage to get his gun as well. Now the counter Uber has been used, but there's no real chase that nerdRage can do here. Now they've got no gun. They've got to keep control of this left-hand side doorway as much as they physically can. Tiger gets a nuke down damage as well. No scouts on the side out of Swift, but their soldiers are in, trying to rain death down, but they're just not securing the frags, like, at all.
Only Elikor. Yeah, only Elikor there, and that was, like, at the very tail end, just a cheeky last rocket by Nubby, and that was about it. So not a great re-aggression there by Swift at all, but they do have a slight Uber ad now, and it depends on how well nerdRage can roll this forward, maybe keep some aggression up and potentially DM this as best as they can. Josh going in deep, however, he's not going to be able to pick up a kill at all, and now it's just the scouts dueling each other on mid as Elikor is still just making his way back, and he's going to meet up with his team again, backing off, with only the mole in, trying to go for a nice bomb there, but not meeting anything, unfortunately.
Ah, that's pretty unfortunate. It really seemed like nerdRage wanted to go, and then the scouts kind of got caught. Their heels kind of got caught in the doorway. They couldn't really move forward. They end up kind of having to feed both their soldiers. Didn't even get the force. I mean, it's not too bad, right? Like, it is still equal right now. It looks like they're going to try and just walk in top right. They know there's a heavy. They've got to keep an eye out for a sniper, but there doesn't seem to be anything like that there. Peaked a little bit, but not fully trying to commit, and we'll find ourselves back here. Nubby jumps in, gets just denied. Goodbye. No, we'll get taken down as well.
No, you can't jump those. You don't jump scouts in a heavy. It's just it like a terrible idea.
It is quite hard, dude.
It's a very rough thing to do. I mean, sometimes you get lucky, but at this time it was absolutely an unfortunate outcome. So we do find ourselves with Kuno on the sniper again, though, and he's actually sticking with it as well, which is the more surprising fact, because it's not like any Swift players are very aggressive right now. Not beyond the spy, actually.
I was gonna say, yeah.
There's a lot of off classes coming out on either side here.
Yeah, everyone's just like believing themselves. In fairness, Yeehor, like, he's been on the spy for a while, right? Like, he should know that Nubby's on the spy. Now he's going to build his little gun. He's going to be fully aware that this spy is probably going to be appearing just about any second. They should be, like, aware of what's happening. Getting themselves caught out would be a little bit embarrassing at this point. And yeah, Kudu's even just gone pyro. Like, just to assert dominance to be like, it's not happening. We do see Captain bombing super deep. Doesn't really get anything at all. The Nubby gets a fail stab and then just... he gets the sentry, I guess.
He saps the sentry,
He also dies.
Does his job, I suppose.
Yeah, 2 guys down, got the gun. Nice, good stuff. Keep a hold a second. Can nerdRage actually get out? Can they get a force? Can they just walk in? I feel like they're going to want to, right? Even they're hitting the look of their own last at this point.
Absolutely. They've been here for so long, and they've spent so much time here. Kuno's going to get a nice pick onto Nazboy, actually. He's going to leave Seeds pretty much unattended. He's kind of spinning in circles, waiting for somebody to meet him again. Everybody else holding down the choke points. But again, no follow-up by nerdRage at all. They just lose Kuno. And even though there's no demo on the side of Swift, they just still are too fearful of pushing through any form of choke point. Captain's going to take down that sentry. Elikor is going to pick up Captain, though. The Uber does come out of the side of Seeds here. Countered now by Shock. Yeehaw has the crits on the frontier. Just going to pick up Tiger with it. Good thing he's using the correct primary weapon on the Engineer class. That
Tiger
sentry's
just
been
got
racking
rolled,
up.
dude. I don't know. This is right. Okay, but like we're still gonna just find ourselves here again. Now Nobby's on sniper. He's like, right, if you're all gonna off gas, I'm just gonna keep sniping. I'm just gonna, do my thing as well. nerdRage seem just perfectly content sitting themselves on last at this point, just kind of doing whatever. This is so much the difficulty of Sunshine last, right? Like, it is really hard to get through when teams are actually holding. It's like, it's wide open. You can have a gun watching so much. Like, Elicle's doing a fantastic job of locking down this right-hand side. So even when Nubby's trying to do some of these deep peeks, like, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to really get onto anything. But at the same time, while you're playing this defensive, you can't really get any good pushes out. Stickies pick up Nasboy, so even with Josh going down, you now really can't have a continuation from Swift. You've got no Stickies to lock down the other doorways, and they're just going to be chilling outside again. The one good thing right now is there's no Stickies on the shutter. Someone could go fast if they wanted to, but, like, yeah, like, they're soldier down. Like, while they have Sniper and NG, like, you don't have the Scouts to get aggressive either, and they just got to do some more standing around and try and get themselves like a more significant advantage. It's not easy though, right? It's not easy at all.
I don't know. I just while you were talking there, I think I saw Elicor kill somebody with a sticky trap in the same exact spot for like the third time in a row. This time around, it was Slimnish. It's the same exact spot on those stairs up top. Same exact spot 3 times in a row. I don't understand how people keep walking into him, but there you go. I think they've wisened up a little bit, and Kuno's gonna actually pick up Nubby, so that's the sniper duel 1 for him. Now a little bit of an opening for him, obviously, to try and peek a little bit more forward.
Oh my lord, Jamal has done it. He has jumped in, he has forced the Uber. That is...
Fair enough.
Yeah, that is the exact play they need. Right now, they just have the unenviable task of trying to get out of not only Sunshine last, hopefully with an Uber advantage, or hopefully try and catch something, but also not get back capped. And it seems like they're going to try and do that by leaving Yeehaw on last with his sentry gun. So that means that pushing power is basically going to be 4 people at this point. They're going through lower. We still have Elicor towards the shutter, keeping an eye on things. Nubby's getting some really good early damage to spam as well coming through. Nubby even managing to live. Oh, just about not live there. Lem's on the backup though. He's wanting to go all the way behind, but these frags are going pretty much all the way of Swift right now. But Semish actually directly behind Shock. Oh, somehow
Close.
Not quite connecting those shots. That's super spooky. And that's 3 frags now for Swift. They managed to get control of second. Everything's looking pretty good, but the spawners come in just a few seconds on the side of Swift. They basically just about to get their Uber. They might want to look to just go aggressive here. We actually just get 1 rocket towards Shock already. He's just going to get cleaned up super easily. And the big boy one from Naspo is just going to secure that as well. And things are looking super good for Swift right now. They can go as slow as they want, secure every little frag here. Josh, no, goodbye. You're not going to get out at all. And even Elicor is going to get cleaned up. Like, this is just going to be the absolute freest last push in the world. It's going to be like a gun, and that's it.
There's a gun and a lone Kunu Shock combo that has just now spawned, so things are looking a little rough here for nerdRage. If they manage to hold on to this point, it is going to be a very big surprise, but you never know. Anything is possible. Swift now moving in quickly. Actually going to get pressured back. It seems like Kunu, as the heavy here, was able to hold off pushing players long enough for the spawns to come in, and nerdRage should stabilize a little bit on the point now, setting up a defense again on last. This is a very familiar situation that we found ourselves in.
But they've got ad this time, Surny. They've got ad. They can do it. They can go top right. They can
very
own
much
them.
so.
They're doing it. Go,
Are they?
Nasboy.
They definitely are. Early in, Nasboy beeps the first jump, but that's fine. He's gonna go in, and they're in deep already. Sentries down, as is Josh. Just seeing if they can maybe even hold on to this in any way. nerdRage, they're already down 4 players.
Woo.
Shock actually does get his Uber onto the mole here, so they're gonna be able to hang on for a little longer, but he's a lone player. How is he gonna clean up 4 people? It's gonna be pretty difficult. Slemnish is gonna get picked up, but it's too much for just a single person to try and take down. So finally, after 23 minutes almost, Swift picks up the first round.
Yeah, and pretty silent, honestly. You know, they did manage to do it. It wasn't that much of an advantage. It was a scary one to go for. Killing that gun is super important. Getting it down nice and early, so good stuff from Nasboy there. But we're going to go into our second mid of the game. nerdRage, they're going to want to come back strong, because that time is already playing on their minds right now.
Absolutely. You don't want to lose that first map with just after such a long round and a 1-0. That's a very rough thing to do. So we'll see if they can approach this mid a little bit differently maybe, and see how they will approach it. Nubby bombing high now, getting onto Josh. Unfortunately, it's not a crit kill, but other than that, You know, a lot of people are getting cleaned up on nerdRage and on Swift's side for that matter, but they don't have heals for the side of nerdRage, so it's just the scouts up with a combined HP of less than 100, so it's not gonna be looking very good for them. Only Yeehaw in behind, and it looks like the scouts of Swift have carried yet another mid-fight to a victory. Yeehaw's just, he's going in deep behind, actually.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, we actually just seen the 1v1. He's got zero fear, Tiger, mate. That's so unnecessary. I love that he's trying to assert dominance. So unnecessary. What if you just leave the scout behind and don't care and go forward and win the round, you know? Because, like, that's genuinely going to have an impact here. Shock's already on 60%. They now can't, like, leave one scout capping because Slem needs to be part of the Uber. This is actually going to get super, super close in terms of Ubers, possibly off that little play. Nasboy is going to be jumping on in 80% now on Shock. He's going to be getting nice and aggressive, getting good damage, gets the gun down. Shock's managing to keep himself alive, 95%. Still stickies towards point as well. And it looks like nerdRage should just be getting this Uber and trying to keep a hold of this. They can go aggressive whenever they want. Now, Uber does get used so much time towards point. But they are going to pick up those 2 important frags and the third one towards Captain. These remaining Swift players are going to be all the way on top left. Nasboy wants to try and peek forward a little bit, but he's going to get pressured out just a little bit by the scout, and it is going to turn into... I mean, this is an Uber advantage for Swift. Not huge. It is possible. But
it is. If they go very quickly, if we go very quickly, we could see something from them, but very good hold by nerdRage there. Just, they managed to stay alive for so long as well. Like, the mole didn't even die until Shock had his Uber, and then he literally only died because Shock couldn't connect with him in time, so that was... They stayed alive for so long, they kited it so well. Nobody dying at all during all that. So let's see how this next one by Seeds goes here. Again, Shock not anywhere near. And this one's looking a lot better with the Sentry Eloquent Josh and the mole down before any cap time is put down. That was a clean, quick loss, my lord.
Okay, so that entire last push literally came down to Nasboy. He had a super sick jump in from left. He put one sticky directly beneath Eloquent and juggled him up, so Eloquent now can't back up the shot. He can't do anything. Like, his movement's just been negated, and he just juggled him with, like, 3 stickies, right? The second Eloquent was dead, they had a scout immediately on point, playing that time, and then that was it. That was the last push over. It didn't matter how much advantage or how little advantage they had. The second they got Eloquent and started playing that point, that was GG. That was super sick.
Yeah, and we're immediately finding ourselves in a quick third round here as well. The time is definitely ticking for nerdRage now, and they want to pick up a couple of rounds here if they want to have any chance of taking home points for this map. And right now, it's definitely not looking like that, as everybody but Shock has died. And Shock, honestly, should be killbound. He should have killed out a lot sooner there. But, you know, gonna get the taunt out of Nasboy, so... Ooh.
It's, yeah, a little bit unlucky. Now we're finding ourselves 4 minutes left in the game, and what will very likely be a 3-0 scoreline as soon as this Uber does get used. We do see Kudo on the sniper once again, Engineers up, but it's just such a huge Uber advantage. We did see that super sick push from the left-hand side from the attacker's point of view just a moment ago. It looks like Nasboy wants to try and do that again. But they're taking that moment just to calm down, get buffs, and they can be jumping in now towards left-hand side. This jump didn't go quite as well this time, didn't take that much space, and importantly, they haven't managed to catch any of these players too much. Sticks do get dealt on point. They do manage to get 1 frag, 2 frags. Now, no soldiers at all. They're going to start playing towards point, and yeah, it is just going to be textbook once again, getting control of that position, starting to play the point, forcing these players close, and that's going to be a 3-0. And it is 3 minutes, and you need nerdRage to just have an absolute god tier mid at this point to get back in it.
Like, yeah, and then repeat it 2 more times over, because I mean, if I'd say it's probably unlikely that they even pick up the map now, but if they can pick up a round and then maybe use any form of momentum to carry it forward into the next map immediately, that would obviously be very beneficial for them. The main important thing right now is to not get tilted, but let's see how they handle this mid first, and maybe we'll see something there. Captain's actually going to be the first player to go down on the side of Swift here. The mole's going to get cleaned up, but Nasboy is going to get cleaned up out of Swift, so that's no demo now. Josh down as well, no soldiers for nerdRage, but Nabi's gonna get cleaned up, so the same is true for Swift. Just players being exchanged left, right, and center. Eloquo is gonna get cleaned up. It's just the scouts and mid now on both sides, just staring each other down, peppering each other.
This is terrifying. These Swift scouts are disgusting. Look at them. They're just walking all the way forward. They're not gonna stop either, are they? They're not gonna stop. Uber does now actually get used.
Gonna have to pop, yeah.
Caesar's just gonna back. He doesn't even care. He's stone cold. Oh my days.
Oh no. Oh, that's disrespectful. Idar, that's almost disrespectful.
literally don't care at all. And that's pretty much just going to be like solidifying the map right there. Demor's going to be hiding in his little corner. He loves it. Not going to be getting anything there at all. And this is going to be the last 100 seconds of the game. Time to get some frags. Time to get some logs there. We still do have a big old Uber to use on the side of Seeds whenever he so wishes. Looks like you don't need it at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, he's got no reason to. There's no immediate threats whatsoever. There's the Mole, I guess. He's going to try to jump in, but he's only going to meet Slemnish on the point. Tiger's going to come in to back him up as well, so there's no issues there. It's just Elikor and Shock up on last now, with Yeehaw just now spawning as well. If they can even hold on to this point for more than a second, that would be quite surprising. It's not gonna happen.
Not happening. Not happening. That is going to be a pretty... I mean, considering the first round was 23 minutes, the fact that we now have ourselves a 4-0 is a real sign of things. Like, it was back and forth, but, like, it feels so hard for nerdRage to get any real kind of momentum. Like, Swift is super, super good at not only pressuring, but, like, resisting pressure as well, right? There were so many situations where, like, they'd even lose, like, a key player. Like, they'd lose Naspo or something, but they'd still do just enough to stop nerdRage from, like, fully committing. And then before you know it, Naspo's back up and they can just keep doing their own thing. Very much felt like they were in the driving seat for the vast majority of this game. And that's going to feel like a rough start for this game. Obviously, we're going into Granary next, which is, you know, widely known as one of the slower maps. And it's going to feel really rough for your nerdRage right now.
Yeah, you don't want to go into from a game where you're already on the back foot the entire time. I mean, again, some good momentum on these last, 20 seconds of the match, but even then, how much is that going to be anything to write home about? But then you go into a map where things are going to be even slower, and Navi's going to get that cheeky market garden for the logs before the round ends.
That's like 3 seconds. 3 seconds of the map, and he's like, oh yeah, this hasn't worked out yet. I'll get one. I'll get one just for the logs.
I mean, that one can go in a fragment. Nobody has to know that it was in the last 3 seconds of the match. It's very important. But yeah, it's going to be rough for nerdRage, really. They have to find their footing here for headed into Granary. You do have to contest Granary, traditionally a less scout-centric map. So if you're going to argue that Swift are being carried by their scouts, maybe they'll have less of an impact, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, like, I mean, considering, like I said, in the warm-up, like, Naspo is absolutely nuking on Granary. It's going to be interesting to see the old demo matchup. But before we go into Granary, I guess we can take a little look at some logs. Obviously, the first 23 minutes was pretty slow, so I'm not expecting any absolutely huge numbers here. Yeah, mostly from, like, the damage point of view. We're not seeing massive variations. Like, it's pretty significant, I would say, in terms of just eyeballing stats. 4 extra Ubers on the side of Seeds is pretty significant, keeping himself... I mean, 6 deaths isn't a lot of deaths in a game of 6 versus 6, all right? However, when the comparison is 2, like, Seeds, doing his whole, like, never dying thing, getting his extra Ubers, it's fairly significant, right? But it also felt like a lot of what Swift was doing great didn't come down to necessarily just, like, getting a million frags, right? Like, they had, like, super good pressure. They had some super efficient last pushes, right? And I feel like a lot of that probably won't be reflected in the stats in the same way, but definitely shows that, yeah, they were looking pretty solid once they got themselves warmed up.
I do find it interesting how much more damage scouts on Swift have than, say, Nazboy. Traditionally you'd assume the demo top damages, but not on that team. Besides that, though, yeah, there's nothing super stand out here, as you say. Even in the terms of the frags, it's just there weren't many kills being exchanged. It's just that everybody was just good at keeping each other at bay before even having to kill people in the first place.
I will say, right, like, if you're playing TF2 in the year 2020 and you're in, like, a 3 versus 3, Scout and Medic versus Scout and Medic, and the enemy team has Seeds, Tiger, and Slemnish, like, I'm disconnecting out that server, right? Like, it's ridiculous how you have Kuno and Yeehaw on the other side, but it's Slemnish and Tiger, man. Like, they're actually nuts. And even with Granary being, like, yeah, like, a less obviously scout-centric map, you still have, like, the winger exists, right? The scout can no-clip up onto the crates and just stand there and nuke everyone still. You still have positions where if there's, like, a slight uber advantage, they can just walk in and just, like, pound everyone. It's like, I don't know, I still feel like they're going to be pretty fearsome opponents to be dealing with. But that being said, we've not seen so far this season nerdRage actually playing Granary, so maybe they got some magic up their sleeves. maybe.
We'll see. Anything is possible. You've seen teams just completely turn the tides of games on second maps, and I think I vividly remember that nerdRage can sometimes be one of those teams, just completely turning the tides when you don't really expect it. So we'll have to see. Yeah, like Granary is a map that does play a little bit differently from faster maps, so maybe Swift won't be able to play their very fast style if they run up against a wall here. If nerdRage could put up decent defenses and stuff, we'll just have to see how they handle it. It's the ball is completely in their court at the end of the day, because Swift obviously putting on a dominant performance and having dominant players that are very keen at the start of the season. All those factors are gonna make things a little bit harder for them. For their opponents, much harder.
Yeah, like I don't know about you. Like to me, the biggest thing which I think nerdRage are got to be looking to this game is like they've just got to get some actual momentum, right? Like they need to actually start chaining some good events together. They had situations where they'd like use an Uber and get control of a point, and then they'd just be leapfrogged. But they wouldn't be leapfrogged. They'd use an Uber to get mid, and then they'd lose mid for free, and then lose second, and then it'd be like a stalemate, right? So they would use their Uber to get 1 point, and then like Swift wouldn't even have to use the Uber, and they'd get like 2 points. Like every situation where you had nerdRage start trying to chain something, they could get like one link of the chain, and then Swift would be like right back there and just be like, nope, we're gonna just completely stop you right there. Be it through like really good pressure, like really good delaying, or just getting a couple picks on the flank, or like things like that, right? I think nerdRage, they need to be focused on chaining some good stuff together and actually getting that ability to like move forward and continue advantages, because it's like it's no longer good enough in the game to just get an Uber advantage and then like get 1 point off it, right? Like because people taking things for free these days. You ain't gonna win a game through doing that.
Yeah.
So I
They've
think
also
that's got to be what their focus is.
They've also shown themselves to be very fearful. Honestly, like all the pressuring and stuff we've seen from Swift, I don't even know if all of that is necessarily the team applying good pressure. It's probably like I think a part of it that plays into it is just nerdRage showing maybe a little bit too much respect for their opponents. Because there were some opportunities, especially on the last map, where I was like, it seemed a little odd as to how passively they approached things or how they chose not to push too aggressively. And then obviously immediately after that punished them because Swift recognized that and immediately reapplied pressure. If they're not getting pressured at all, they realize, okay, well, we can keep moving forward and pressure them back again. So it is a very fine dance that they have to figure out here, I feel. Like they have to find the exact line of the exact level of aggression that they might want to find so they can actually try to somehow counteract the Swift aggression here. But it seems like Swift are just way better currently at like exactly reading where nerdRage are going to be and how they're going to act, while nerdRage are just almost always find themselves on the back foot and are being very careful. They don't want to necessarily mess up, and that's actually their downfall.
I feel like the players we're like 11 in the server. I feel like we have a minute just to go for some predictions. Okay, Nasboy's just joined. Right, I feel like I know what you're probably going to predict here. Going into Granary, though, what are you going to be saying? Is this the big nerdRage comeback, or is this the Swift just continuing to just kind of win the game?
If nerdRage overcome the odds and we see a little bit of a comeback, it's going to be a very close map, and they might take it like 3-2. But given what I've seen thus far and how just out of their minds Swift are playing currently, it's more likely to see that if they're even gonna get around, it might be like a 4-1, but it's probably gonna be another roll on the side of Swift. It's very optimistic to think that if nerdRage don't get their footing in this game, that it's gonna be like it could be a 5-0 within 20 minutes.
Yeah, I really want to disagree. I want to say you're absolutely wrong, nerdRage. They're gonna really come out and like bring out some magic, but
obviously,
I just don't see it happening right now. I think this is gonna be Swift looking to control this as well. Maybe not quite so many rounds, maybe like a 3 or something, but I'm pretty sure that's the world we're gonna live in. But like I said, I think important thing to look at will be, obviously I didn't see the warm-up game, but if Nasboy's getting these big stats in the warm-up against, I believe they played Ascent, which is like, they're no slackers, that team. It'd be interesting to see exactly how the demo 1v1 goes in terms of mids, because obviously like that first 10 seconds of the mid, maybe slightly less than that, but those first few seconds of the mid is a super demo v demo kind of centric fight, right? Like they're the only guys on there, and it's all about, if you can get a little bit more damage, you can get more aggressive and immediately get yourselves a nice kind of stronger position for your team. obviously Elacor is a much more kind of legendary demo man. Nasboy is still like a newborn in the scale of things, but he's shown himself to be incredibly powerful. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works. Because if he starts pounding in the early part of mid, I think like they're just going to take high ground. The soldiers are just going to nuke, and it's going to be Nurdrage just getting bubble dunked, which is a technical terminology.
Ooh, should make that one up, or
I'm not sure exactly. I don't have an answer.
I thought you were gonna give me like a literary lesson. You're gonna show me your linguistics studies that you've made or something. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Linguistics. Veer, that one frag movie from back in the day. Go listen to that. We're going
Fair
live.
enough. Indeed, it looks like players have actually decided they do want to play the game and they do want to play the map. So let's see if nerdRage can find themselves some momentum, some forward movement here, and take a few rounds, maybe even the map, or if we're just going to see Swift continuing to roll forward. Elacor a lot quicker to the mid, it seems. He's gonna try to shut off Nelsboy. Not gonna happen though. Navi extremely fast as well. He's just gonna get onto Elacor immediately. Captain gonna follow up as well. It's, as you were saying, as soon as Elacor is dead, this is basically already a very terrible mid for nerdRage, and they immediately recognize it and don't even want to sink any more resources into this mid fight that will just be lost anyway. Yeehaw's gonna try to go for a cheeky play here onto Seeds, but that's not gonna happen, and ultimately they're just gonna have to back off. Dumol's gonna try to bomb, and he does pick up Nazboy and Captain actually, so that's a huge bomb by him. But is it gonna be enough?
I mean, it's going to be enough to at least prevent Swift from continuing to walk forward, but considering they lost their own players, it's going to be really, really hard trying to get to this choke point. Elicor's trying to bully just a little bit, try and get some space, at least for his soldiers, but they're just going to get walked at as well. Elacor does get that pipe onto Navi, which keeps things alive just a little bit, but it's actually not even an Uber trade. Elacor just gets sent into the dirt dimension. Seeds absolutely doesn't even take a single point of damage. Then I'm just going to take all of Yard complete for free. And there's no Doman to spam second. Josh just only being a spawner. There's no one really here at all. It's just going to be nerdRage all the way towards last. And Nasboy can just put his big boy booties on charge all the way towards last and look to just go straight in.
Yeah, this is not looking very good for nerdRage right now. That Uber was basically just a panic pop by Shock, not wanting to lose more players, and it looks like it is really going to come back to bite him in the butt. But they do actually manage to pick up 3 frags here. Now, huge air shot by the Mole. My man is playing out of his mind. I've been telling you, these soldiers on nerdRage have been the best players on their teams. I'll just come and say it. They've just been the best players on their teams right now. And
no, Seeds! That's so sad. Josh was just the sickest little chase there. It would have been so easy just to, like, slightly not pay attention to things, lose track of Seeds. But Seeds going down that late is actually super significant. They can start looking to try and go forward towards mid. This time, Yeehaw winning that 1v1 on Tiger and picking up Captain as well. This is the kind of momentum that nerdRage is needing now. Getting those frags, getting that big old Uber advantage, taking the middle point for free. And they're just going to walk all the way forward now. They're just about... Ooh, they don't quite deny the forward spawners from Tiger, so he will be there on Sniper, but they are aware of how this game is played. They're going to go far left with their heals, make sure there's no chance of any kind of crazy little body shot happening. Nubby's also hiding in a slightly weird position. He's actually going to get in, get one frag completely for free, possibly even start pressuring the point as well. This is going to be a little bit scary because he can't now go forward with his Uber, and it's going to be 75% on Seeds. This has to be a swift push. No pun intended.
Even though you're making it about the wrong team, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't care.
It doesn't quite work. It's like a 50% maybe, but fair enough. I appreciate the attempt, obviously. Yeah, that's going to be a very rough one for nerdRage here. They basically just got stalled entirely, and all the momentum they picked up over the course of this round, and it's not looking like that will be any factor playing in here with even Ubers. They're going to have to try to bust this last hold somehow. Tiger locking down the right side on Sniper as well, getting the door opened even, and these nerdRage players still taking surprisingly risky positions here. Considering they know that there's a sniper about, they finally realize that they don't want to give him any angles. But they find themselves on the back foot while they're on the enemy's second. It's not a situation you want to be in if you want to try to actually push into last or somehow create an opening for your team or anything like that. The Mole's going to try just that.
And it hits 0 damage.
He is attempting to get that opening, but unfortunately that won't happen.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that he gave it a go. This does open things up if he wants to go Sniper or Spy or something like that. We do have Josh hiding close towards the left. Nasboy is going to take a bit of a spam exchange here with Elacor. But it is actually going to be Josh picking up Tiger there. No more sniper on the side of Swift for just a moment. And it's going to be the rest of Swift just backing now towards Blast, keeping things nice and relaxed. We do see Demul just coming back up on Soldier, so no off-classing in his head right now. It's going to be nerdRage getting aggressive towards his right side. Kuna gets sent into the skybox. Avoid getting airshot, but the stickies will claim his life. Thankfully, they do manage to take down Nubby, so it's going to be a little bit hard for Swift to do anything too much in terms of continuation. Elicor's still super weak, though. Like, he is absolutely terrified right now. Just about going to be out again. Arrow picking up Tiger. There's scrappy fights everywhere, but they still have so much space. Like, even now with like a two-player advantage just about, they still can't really walk in because Granary is so wide open. They have so much position to take. They're going to try it, though. They're going to try. Josh is going to get onto this high ground. Scouts will be getting towards the point. No Uber's been used for either team yet. This is going to come down to some pretty scrappy fights. Oh my god, and it's nerdRage getting the tail end of everything. Oh god.
They lose three players before Shock even gets a chance to pop.
Oh god,
that
and
is...
Captain's following up. Captain's doing so much damage. Oh Christ, that is being chased.
No. I'm surprised nobody else has died except for Elicor. Oh, he's gonna get Shock actually.
Captain. Kunu got baited to hell by those scouts. He's just staring at them just like, nah, it's fine. I'm gonna keep a medic alive. But then Captain comes in on the flank. Takes down Shock. There is nothing good for nerdRage right now. The only thing they have is Yeehor in forward spawn as a sniper. Does he hit the all-important body shot? And he doesn't! Oh god, that is not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, that's rough. You don't want to see that, but the Ubers are still not too highly in the favor of Seeds. They might be able to take second with this, but if nerdRage manages to keep Shock alive, they should be able to hold on to Lost. Maybe. It depends, but it's definitely not something you like to see. A lot of momentum out of nerdRage early in that round, but now things are not looking good for them anymore. They find themselves on the back foot, and they're just being dealt blow after blow. It's not looking great for them, unfortunately. Now Swift making their way forward onto second here, trying to get some pressure onto the point. These nerdRage players still making sure that nobody can really get in deep, but half of the team is up in Lunchbox, and he's just going to go up top and actually pop the Uber off onto Tiger. He's going to clean up the mole immediately. Now the Uber exchange coming out of Shock with here as well. Just players going all over the place. Kuno's actually going to clean up Tiger, and Nazba's going to get picked up by a trap. Still got Nubby in behind. He's going to get onto Shock and actually clean him up as well. Oh no.
Oh my days. That is a messy little situation. The only thing that Swift cares about is, in the end, they did manage to pick up Shock, so it's going to be Slemnish and Seeds backing up all the way. Now with Tiger Captain and Nasboy spawning and no heals on the side of nerdRage, Swift is looking to contest this straight through towards his left-hand side. They're going to get some decent damage towards Josh, at least force him back just a little bit. It is nerdRage capping the point, so Shock will at least get forwards. But this is Uber advantage. There is so much damage being dealt to these nerdRage players. How did nobody die there?
I'm surprised, yeah. That was quite surprising. I saw a lot of health bars through like the wall. Hitting, getting very white, and that's a scary thing to see when trying to again defend here. Oh my lord, that huge Uber does that as well. They're definitely afraid of it, and it looks like Swift going to be taking the left side of the yard here, just running everybody back. Naturally, nerdRage have nothing to respond with. They have a few stragglers up ahead, maybe trying to slow things down ever so slightly. The mole in Lunchbox, you're trying to fight Tiger. He's actually going to win that 1v1, but going to get cleaned up, and it's not looking very great for them, but the longer they can manage to hold back these Swift players, at least they can get up onto their own Uber, maybe utilize that a little bit. Even if they do have to give up second for free, they might go for a contest here. It does look like that's what they're doing. The Uber exchange is underway, and not much is happening just yet. It's really just how this post-Uber fight or positioning goes, and it looks like it is enough for nerdRage to retake the building and push Swift out of the building into yard, but for how long is the real question. Slemnish is now going to meet Josh, but actually back off again. Oh,
I will say there was
back
just
and forth.
that one little moment towards left-hand side there. It's actually, it can be kind of overstated how significant that frag was from Demul, because by killing Tiger, like with the pack going as well, they actually delayed Seeds so much. So kind of keeping hold of things there. That's actually going to be fights all the way towards the flank. It's a 2v2. Soldiers just going down. Apparently they're not wanting to stay here anymore. It is going to be, I mean, Captain is still towards top. They've got Tiger as well. At any point they could just try and walk in. Elicor just a little bit.
Oh, the pincer maneuver.
Okay.
Captain goes in behind.
Jumps in
He
with the
jumped.
distraction. Oh,
I
it's so
was
sick.
I saw that entire thing unfold as well as the combo of nerdRage backed off to the shutter. I saw Yeehaw was actually one of the few players that was up top. He probably saw Captain just before he jumped out of the window, and then he just jumps around into the backing up combo, just absolutely creaming onto Shock there. Nothing he could do. Huge play, huge pick. Massive ad, obviously, on the sides of Seeds now, so this is looking like it could be a pretty easy last push for Swift.
I mean, you know, they've still got a sniper to deal with, which means they will have to be using pretty early. They've got a gun to deal with as well. Uber's going to come straight on in. Nastboy jumping nice and deep. Will take down this gun pretty early there. Them all being chased off of the high ground, so these soldiers on the side of Swift now going to get some control in terms of the high ground. Scouts will be playing on point, and yeah, this is going to be crisp, clean last push there from Swift. Going to be starting things off now. This is a 1-0.
Again, a 10-minute round, though. It's not a 23-minute round, but it's still pretty long for a first run on a map to go. It's certainly normal for Granary, I'd argue, though. So we'll see how nerdRage can try to respond to this in their second mid on Granary here now. They just have to get that momentum, they have to get that footing, but I feel like with every round loss, even just a single one, they're going to lose more and more of it, and that's going to be their downfall. Elikor opting to roll out in the garage here, actually not meeting Nastboy at all, and the team's just unfolding there. Demol going deep early and actually going to pick up Nubby as a first little frag. Nastboy's actually going to get cleaned up by the follow-up, as is Captain. The aggression coming out of the nerdRage players early here is great, but Tiger slips through and just picks up Shock. So, great early aggression by nerdRage here. Honestly, very, very great aggression onto that mid. Just pressuring the entirety of the players out of choke. They were just caught out on the side of Swift, but it's ultimately not enough because Seeds escapes and they let Tiger slip through and just pick up their own mid. So...
oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. Like, those soldiers did such a great job. Like, they staggered their jumps instead of just bombing both together. They staggered them specifically so that while they were distracted with one, they couldn't really focus on the other one. Then he goes in, like, they're both just dealt so much damage. They completely just locked them in that choke point. Everything was going perfect, and then they lost Shock. So now they're going to have huge Uber disadvantage. They're not really going to be able to keep control of mid at all. They should at least be trying to force Swift towards here. Swift does eventually use. They're going to be picking up 3 already, and with one player on the backline, if they knock it back, they're going to pick up Shock as well. They're just going to get crumbled on. Oh god, that's
it's
so
all
sad.
falling
That comes
apart.
from that one play from Tiger getting behind on mid.
It's such an aftershock that one play has created, just because Tiger managed to slip by all of the chaos going on
Oh
in
god,
choke.
and Nobby's hiding on last.
Oh no. Is he gonna get a okay, Josh finds him. Thank God.
Thank God, Josh. You know that Josh has been burned by that before. I can guarantee you. So now he checks it every second.
The way he just
like
walks out and immediately checks that corner, you know that he's got a vendetta against that spot specifically for some reason. But it's not. It's just, is it gonna be enough? I feel like the nerdRage can already almost write this round off as well if they don't manage to hold this last very, very confidently and just have to focus on the next one, because that big Uber ad coming out of Seeds now coming up on his Uber. They're gonna opt to go into the right side here. Josh is just trying to cause a distraction, but ultimately it's not gonna be achieving anything. The sentry goes down immediately, and point time already being put down, but no players except for Josh and Nastboy now dying. The mole's gonna get cleaned up as well. No soldiers on the side of nerdRage. Captain's gonna get cleaned up. Nubby's onto Shock, so no heals now for nerdRage. Yeehaw, the only player left together with Elikor. Elikor now trying to hang out to the point, but against 2 scouts of that caliber, you're gonna have a hard time. Especially when they're getting heals pumped as well, so, you know.
I feel like some of the most significant parts of these last pushes is that Swift is so good at preventing these nerdRage soldiers from just chilling up on the pipe with that high ground advantage, right? Now, that last push, you didn't have Captain Nubby able to stay there the whole time. They did get forced off at least a couple times throughout, but just preventing the defending team from having that high ground advantage to keep control of point is so significant. It's opening up this point and just forcing nerdRage into uncomfortable positions.
Let's see how nerdRage approaches mid. They're looking to do it as similarly as they did the last one, but it's not going to work out just as well. Obviously, Swift expecting it. They're going to lose Nastboy, but immediately just pick up 3 kills of their own. I mean, they did lose Josh early, but still, they're just going to respond to the aggression immediately and only lose Nastboy and Tiger, so ultimately a 1 mid yet again for Swift, but at least not a disastrous one for nerdRage, because they managed to keep Shock alive.
They do. They've got to be a little bit aware of things. The spawners aren't quite there. They are facing just a little bit of pressure here from the side of Swift, but Captain is going to get hung out to dry. We'll lose his life to the Pipe of Eloquor there, and we'll just head back into that spawn queue. Spawners for basically everyone's come up now. This is just a little few moments of a 5 versus 6, and it's actually nerdRage trying to get significantly through left. Oh, what a sick deny from Tiger. And then they pick up more before the Uber gets used. This is happening consistently.
This is a pattern. This is a pattern for nerdRage. They try to push in, take some ground before the Uber, get their players absolutely run into the ground before they can even have a chance to achieve anything. And then there's 3 players left, and Shock basically just has to pop to keep anybody alive and waste the Uber. I mean, at least they managed to turn into a trade because Seeds popped as well, but they're 3 players down, just now respawning, getting onto last. Eloquor is still in the respawn queue. 2 already dead again, and it's just looking like another round for Swift here. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like exact same situation. Granted, they were moving off momentum anyway, but like Swift is just always having the high ground on these last pushes. It is absolutely always. That's like such a focus for their soldiers, and they're doing it super, super well. Granted, they probably would have won it anyway because they had great momentum off of killing Eloquor, but it's so significant to see that even with a team like this, they're being really, I wouldn't even say structured, but they're being kind of pretty disciplined in terms of knowing what they need to be doing here. This time, Eloquor getting the winner side of this, but oh my god, Nubby's just jumped straight into choke. He's done great damage, but not getting any frags. This has to be such a huge collapse. What a direct from Captain! Tiger with a follow-up towards Josh as well. Eloquor just seemingly jumps straight into his death, and no one can get anywhere towards Seeds. I guess that's another mid. Yeah, sure.
Sure. I mean, they put a decent amount of damage onto Seeds, but ultimately, is that enough? Absolutely not. They kept Shock alive, so they'll have something to respond with onto last here, but with the aggression of Swift, I would be surprised if they just take it straight in while, like, before nerdRage players even have, like, much time to set up at all. Obviously, they seem to be aware they're immediately just on the shutter, making sure that nobody can just get an early cheeky push in, and Nazboy is actually going to get cleaned up and punished for it. But the Uber just comes out onto the scouts. See, it's knowing what his Bostonians are worth here, what they can accomplish. But is it gonna... that's not looking good for Swift here, actually. They do lose both soldiers that were trying to hide. Tiger is in behind, in Lunchbox here. But the Mole is waiting as well. Just waiting for somebody to pick off. And Tiger's gonna opt to run away. Gonna meet...
He's down, drop down, and he will thankfully die. Doesn't really matter, though, because the rest of Swift are kind of nuking in this little corner. Someone managed to pick up 2? Like, they're just locking down his checkpoints. Even Demol going in. He picks up Slemish, but at the expense of his own life. Thankfully, we do still have this continuation of the push. Eeyore picks up Seeds, and it's on the Captain as well. So, rotating every which way around the map, and finally getting themselves just a nice little comfortable position. That super late frag towards Naspo is going to prevent him from having any chance at all of getting onto towards second. They might even deny Captain if they're lucky. They do just about. So now, looking pretty hot now. They have a huge Uber advantage. They should be looking to go forward. We do have, I believe, a Nubby Spy alive right now. I don't think he's anywhere. Yeah, he's nowhere too significant for the minute.
Oh, he's actually going to get...
jumped.
He's going to get rocket jumped, so they're aware of the spy, and they're going to find him, and they're going to murder him.
Oh,
unlucky. Unlucky. Oh, yeah, you hate to see that. I mean, he was standing in a decent spot, I suppose, but wasn't expecting Josh to just rocket jump near him. So that kind of ruined everything. And they're going to be popping in immediately onto last year's seat, still nowhere near his Uber. Huge damage out immediately. Slemish and Asboy all going to get picked up immediately. Tiger, and yeah, that's a quick one. Okay, I could barely keep up with it.
That was a fat early frag by Eloquor. He just jumps in and just gives Slem the old 1-2. Nice and easy. Don't even care. Sticking in a pipe. Not bothered at all. They finally get themselves around here in this official. Feeling pretty good about actually getting to play the game again. And there's still 11.5 minutes left on the clock. Like, there's no reason why they can't just chain a couple of these together, get themselves back in the game.
Mm-hmm. We've seen this before. I believe there is a certain term for it, but we'll see how that goes. As nerdRage now, maybe finding some newfound momentum off the back of that first round. Nubby's going to bump into the combo. You're not going to deal much damage, though. Captain going to try to follow up, but again, not much happening. The Mole, meanwhile, clean up on the side of nerdRage. So it's just damage being exchanged left and center, but very good positioning on the side of Swift here. They do lose Slemnish out of it, though, and actually that might be enough for nerdRage to rebound here. They are trying to re-aggress. And they're gonna pressure out the rest of the Swift players here. Eloquor is actually just gonna pick up Seeds?
What?
Wait. What?
Where did that pipe come from?
I think it might have been like a cheeky one through Garage, but okay.
Dude, that was magic. And that literally, like, he's just cracked this round wide open. This is everything nerdRage needs. They're going to have such a huge advantage. No one can really pressure at all towards second on the side of Sud. We do have Tiger on the back lines, but he's going to get 2v1 because guess what? These players have been burned by that. They're like, no, buddy, we're not going to 1v1 you. We're going to get ourselves control a second, get themselves a little heal up, buff up opportunity, and walk on forward with their 75% Uber advantage. They're going to play it slow, though. They can take down this gun, not even having to use their Uber yet. They're going so deep. They're basically next to point. They've still even used the Uber. No stickies onto point. They do finally use now. A little bit of focus towards the high ground, but it is still the Swift defending players keeping control of things. Josh is able to get a little bit down. This is going to be a little bit scary. They're starting to change some frags here. They're starting to play towards the point,
okay.
and whew, slightly scary.
It was looking scary there as the Uber went on and nobody was dying. You just see Tiger pick up the mole on the side, so it's actually even getting worse for them. But towards the tail end, they finally managed to clean out the frags and get the cap time going. So another quick round for nerdRage there. We could very well be having ourselves a situation here. Maybe they finally found some footing and at least have the ability to put up some rounds here. If they can keep this momentum rolling, we might very well see more of them following suit. Let's see how this next mid-fight goes. nerdRage again opting to play the garage side for once. Very high bomb coming out of Josh here as well, trying to get onto seeds, and he actually cleans them up easy. Ooh, what a beautiful one. That's the one you love to see. That's every soldier main's dream. That medic pick right there. Navi's going to try to do the same, but unfortunately he's not going to get anything done. But the Mool and Yeehaw are going to get cleaned up in the meantime. Slemich is now getting in aggressive as well, and these nerdRage players are all bunched up behind the crates here with a bunch of explosive classes looking them down. Might just be, Captain's gonna clean up by Kunu, and Slem's just gonna get piped down by Elikor, Nazboy as well. So that's gonna be a 1 mid for nerdRage, but a lot shakier than the previous two.
Okay, that was, honestly, there was a moment where I could just foresee, like, Kunu got directed and just went straight up, and there was a word where I saw him just get airshot out the map, and then they lost control of that mid, but it didn't happen. They kept control. They played it nice and steady there. They didn't rush getting the frags, which is just so important in that moment. Keeping it nice and chill, and they're securing themselves now.
Control.
Yeah, exactly. They got this big old Uber advantage. They don't have time to dilly-dally. They see the sniper. They're just going to be having to use this Uber now. I think there's a little bit towards the left. Not a great amount of early damage. They managed to get this sentry. That all of their soldiers are towards the high. They're playing just straight towards the point again, and it's going to cap it from underneath them.
All right.
Like, what's this? 3 rounds in like 4 minutes?
You don't have to kill anybody, just stand on the point. And I almost want to say I called it to an extent. But nerdRage are just putting up round after round after round right now. It is beautiful to see. If you're rooting for nerdRage, you love to absolutely see it. With 7 minutes left in the round still, both teams now on 3 points on the scoreline. Let's see if nerdRage can keep this momentum rolling, if Swift will continue to crumble, or if they can reassure themselves that that is just a temporary oversight. Nabi's going to be the first player to go down. The Mole gets onto seeds, does a lot of early damage, cleaned up now by Yeehaw. But the players are still falling on both sides. Airshot onto Josh there, actually, by Captain. But again, just net frags being exchanged either side. Nazboy, the only player left alive, and he's not going to pull off a miracle. So, another 1 mid by nerdRage. They're just keeping it rolling. The train has no brakes.
They've literally just been like activated, right? Like they've just started hitting everything they need to hit. Like they're playing these mids just so much better, and they're already looking to go forward towards second. Like all of the fear from last game, that little bit of kind of being slightly uneasy, not sure if they can take the fight, all stuff like that is completely gone. nerdRage are feeling calm and confident, getting control of the second point now. Big old Uber advantage once again. We'll see if Elikor can just start cracking open these players again, like he's been doing some of these other last pushes. We'll have to delay just a little bit towards the shutter. Keeping an eye over there is a sniper. They will eventually have to use. They do hear that sniper shoot off. So now moving towards the left-hand side. Siege is on 80%. They've not quite taken too much position right now. They're starting to clear towards point, but it's going to be all on where they can secure a couple quick frags. There's so much damage being towards the right-hand side. They're trying to get towards point as well. This is turning super scrappy. Siege is still 90%. Oh my god, it's going to be all on Devon. The high ground gets one. He's...
Oh my god. He cleans up both of the scouts there and like almost manages to get the point out too. Holy crap. So close, and Shock still escapes with his life as well, so We're not going to have a huge, massive Uber disadvantage here. Obviously, Seed's coming up on his own and not having to use there is huge for Swift here to manage to hold on to last that way and then potentially use it to re-aggress. They should be able to take second for free here, honestly.
Oh, Swift are going.
Oh,
they are just going straight in. They're going to pick up Elikor. 2 easy shots there. We do see Nasboy jumping deep as well. He's not going to stop Shock from leaving, though, so they're going to get control a second. They're going to try and continue moving forward here based on the fact that there is no down man on the side of Nurdrage. They're going to take the height, and all of Nurdrage are just like, no, boys, we're not dying like this. Not today. We're going to keep ourselves alive. All 5 remaining players keeping themselves up, getting that Elikor forward spawn. 90% now on Shock. They can go for this push in. It's only really going to be some of this spam and Nubby towards the lamp. They've got to check it, right? If they can take this for free or possibly get a pick towards the... Yeah, like, Seeds is so far back. They've got to be looking to take this for free. Oh, yeah, Nubby's in. He's trying to sink rockets.
Okay, he does not get the kill. Elikor was prepared for that one. Has the stickies ready to just take care of him. Nasboy is also going to get cleaned up, actually, by Josh. Very, very good play by him there. Just 2 players down now for Swift. They're going to have to back themselves off again. But these teams are going to find themselves on even Ubers, so Nurdrage won't be able to roll forward all too much with this momentum. Also, Nubby Sniper in the forward spawn here.
Oh.
They're actually going to pop off the Uber out of Seeds.
That is not a trade, my brothers. That is a very, very keen use, and they were nowhere near anyone. Maybe these scouts getting a little bit overly aggressive, wanting to try and force things to happen, but Nurdrage kind of got their number a little bit, getting themselves a full 100% Uber advantage off of basically nothing, and now that's moving all the way far left, and these Swift, these Swift players have got to keep themselves just a little bit aware. Nurdrage did have an opportunity if they wanted to keep on moving fast to try and catch them on second, but it looks like they're content to try and take this for free and move towards last. They don't have all the time in the world to play with. He's going to get some good damage as well. They're trading players. Ubers are going to be getting super close. They lose Josh as well. They're not really securing it together. They can just about go forward. Uber does now get used. 87% on Seeds. They pick up. Nasboy sees his death. He's trying to get his own Uber, and the continuation from Nurdrage isn't coming in. Tiger and Slemnish, they want to go for this double scout Uber, but the spam. Spam's taking down Tiger. Do they still go? You're 4 versus 5.
I don't know what is happening. It's back and forth.
They can't decide.
They're just losing players, but they also want to commit, and they're just taking so much damage. Captain having to back off again. Slemnish not obviously following that up either. It looks like Swift are going to have to try to recollect themselves here and then maybe try to push out of last, but nerdRage are not giving it up that easily. Despite their massive disad, they're trying to finally do that thing I said that they have to do. Again, it's just pick up Tiger there, but just slow down Swift at every opportunity. Don't fear these players. Don't give them too much space or too much respect. And this is working out beautifully for them thus far. Let's see if they can continue carrying this forward. Only 25% behind on the Ubers now. Make that 15. It's looking like we're going to have our even Uber situation here with Swift trying to hold second.
See, this is scary right now. If you're on the side of Swift, you go from that 3-0 up to now 2 minutes 50, and you're on your own second. 1 Uber drop right now is just absolute disastrous, but Jamal's going to try and get in. Not going to really get anything at all. He loses his life as he tries to get towards top, and this is just going to be keeping things nice and close on this hole. They've got to be aware that Swift do seem to be very intent on trying to go for trades every now and then. They're going to try and bust out towards his left-hand side. It is going to be a trade. They're going to pick up 1 frag each. Slemnish and Yeehor both dying for the greater good here. Neither of their teams able to continue too far now. Obviously so hard to try and get towards either of these shutters, but it is going to be Swift trying to take control of the situation, busting out all the way towards the left-hand side, getting Josh just a little bit weak, but he's going to be back towards his heels as well. And now it's very much the kind of situation where they can't commit through left because there's still an entire team here, you know? This is really, really calm play from nerdRage, keeping control of things, giving them just enough space that they can kind of, I don't know, like push forward, realize there's nothing they could do, and then he's got to back up again. Still equal, 2 minutes left on the clock. It's a slight advantage for Shock, dude. It's a slight advantage.
It's slight, but it might just be enough to win them the game. You never know.
They would have to be so on it. They'd have to be so on this Uber push. It doesn't look like they would need to be in position now, all ready to go. I don't think they will be able to go off it, and it's such a risky play anyway. We do see Captain jumping in all the way from behind, but he's actually just nowhere near the medic at all. He doesn't even manage to get any significant damage towards Elikor right now, so one less soldier on the defending side. Maybe this allows a bit of an opportunity, but it's 1 minute 20 on the clock. Something needs to happen, and this is basically getting to the point of kind of no downsides for nerdRage. Even if they go in and everything goes absolutely catastrophically, still gonna be looking good. He was getting traded. They're gonna get out. No one dies as well. Nasboy can't even really chase at all. This is a 60-second
They
repush. Go on,
can't
go
afford
on,
this.
boys.
It's on Swift as well. They can't afford to take any risks now because any mistake could just lose them the map entirely. And obviously, after going up 3 rounds and the map already, they don't want to have to do that. So they're gonna be playing it very, very carefully now. And nerdRage, just they have to push this. They have to take this. They have 40 seconds left on the clock. If they want to secure Granary without golden cap, now is their opportunity. And it's looking like they're gonna take second, so...
Moving straight towards last. He tries to get straight on point, but his players are there. Shock's now going to be going down. And this is just going to be nerdRage players trying to do whatever they can to try and get towards last. We do see Horde going straight in. He's going to get nuked down. Josh now jumping towards last as well, but there's 4 players right there, buddy. That is not going to happen. 16 seconds on the clock. It's just going to be Demal who's going to be looking to lose his life as well. And this does look like it's going to be going into a golden cap.
I would definitely tell you that it was going to be a close game if nerdRage find their footing, and, you know, I think I was correct on that part. God damn.
That was kind of crazy. Like, incredible comeback from nerdRage. Even, you know, like, they haven't secured the win yet, but even still coming back from a 3-0 with only 10 minutes left in the game is... It's so significant. Like they feel like the way they're playing, their confidence is like a completely different kind of team to what we saw earlier. And it seems like, I don't know, maybe Swift are feeling the pressure a little bit. They readied up immediately.
They don't want to lose any of the steam that they could potentially have here. This is obviously a smart move, but we'll see if nerdRage also try to keep that, or maybe use this tiny bit of downtime they have before the golden cap to really talk strategy, talk theory, and, you know, maybe figure out what the hell happened halfway through that map, so they just suddenly started activating all those special hormones in their brains that made them hit shots all of a sudden. It's... Oh, this could go either way. This golden cap could literally go either way. I do not know. I could not tell you which team is going to take this.
Like, considering...
Keep it
I was
up,
gonna say, considering the last few mids for nerdRage have been pretty dominant, like they've been looking pretty hot on the mids, and obviously in a golden cap, the mid fight's so important. Just getting yourselves that advantage to work off to begin with, being in the driver's seat from then on out, can make so much of a difference. I feel like right now Swift is going to be thinking to themselves, we need to be doing something a little bit different, or at least just be aware of these players, like aware of what these soldiers are going to try and do. Whatever's going wrong for them in the mids, that's got to be the main thing they're focusing on, because everything else, they were looking pretty okay. You know, like if they could win the mids and kind of be in control, they were doing fine. It was when they started being on the backseat that they were looking a little bit rough.
They want to be in the driver's seat and not anywhere else, and it looks like nerdRage are taking this quick break to breathe before potentially securing themselves a map and a couple of points at the very least in this monolithic match that it has been. Definitely, at least on Granary, it's been a monolithic matchup.
Yeah, like there's a lot to be said for nerdRage after having a really, really rough Sunshine, and then a rough first 20 minutes of Granary. It takes a lot as a player to remain super, super focused, and that definitely is how they've been bringing it back here. So I'm hoping we will be seeing them readying up pretty shortly. And it does make you wonder whether they've got any, I don't know how weird nerdRage are in terms of like real gimmicky mids, but, you know, I mean, there's things you can do in terms of Granary mid. The gloves are allowed. You can get a heavy up top sometimes, you know, you can try and just ruin the mids of every soldier in the game. It's possible. I would have thought if you were nerdRage, they'd basically just be thinking same again, really. Whatever we've been doing the last 3 mids, let's just jump on in, try and
just
nuke them, and then
yeah,
exactly. It does seem like definitely there's a lot of these mids like Tiger's trying to get behind. Sometimes it's been working out, but when they can catch him just kind of when he's on that rotate to try and get behind, when they can just kind of be aware of him and take him down, it's so much security for them on the mids. But this is gonna be it going to this golden cap.
Let's see which team actually takes home the second map here. It could go either way. We've seen an incredible comeback from nerdRage, so if they want to continue that momentum going forward and want to take Granary home with some points of their own, or more points much rather, that would obviously be huge for them. Both teams playing it rather slow, obviously, to the mids first and foremost. nerdRage actually playing the left side this time around, playing it carefully. No bombs just yet. Everybody staring each other down, waiting for somebody to initiate. Scouts now going forward, taking a lot of ground on Swift. Finally, Swift soldiers also coming in to bomb. Nubby's actually going to clean up first, though. As is Tiger, Elikor getting these stickies, these crucial picks. Captain's going to try to go in, gets a nice shot onto Kunu. Cleaned up as with an arrow by Shock, actually. And it's looking like that this might be the one mid
Yeehaw's
four.
on the prowl. This is going to be so significant. But he's weak, though. He's weak, though. One little arrow would probably do it. Seeds is so weak. And Yeehaw's just about picking him up right at the tail end as well. That is going to be a 20-second respawn there on Seeds. This is scary times. And this is actually Shock. He's on mid, but he does have 100%. But he's on the crit screed, which is going to be a little bit scary. You got to wonder whether these players are aware of this, because maybe just a close gun. We have Slemish on Pyro as well. This might actually be the bane of their little last push, because imagine if they had Uber right now. Things would be so secure, but the crits adds just such a level of uncertainty.
Don't know. If Slemish just gets a reflect on like a crit rocket or pipe here, it could completely demolish whatever this push will be, but it could also very well be that Swift is just not anticipating the crits here, and it could very well be that they just aren't going to be ready for it. They're expecting an Uber, and then they're suddenly going to get met in the face by some crit stickies. We'll have to see. Kuno's actually going to get cleaned up, trying to open a little bit here and get some space, so it's not going to be him in the push, but again, it is a crit, so...
right-hand side, crits has been used. It's got absolutely nothing so far.
Oh,
They're just
they got
getting
Nubby,
nuked.
and then they got nuked.
They've been absolutely just, oh my god, they've been pounded into the dirt. That's just going to be nothing at all. And the kind of sad thing is, right, like you don't want to lose your medic in that situation, but honestly, Shock being on crits right now kind of sucks, man.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, especially considering Seeds is now coming up on his own Uber, which completely nullifies any sort of effect that the crits could potentially have. So nerdRage going to be having to try and take this, or defend this, maybe even, you know, pick up Seeds, or at least force them before they can really take any ground here. And it's looking like the Mole was trying to do exactly that there. He's going to pay with his life instead, and Swift now, they've tasted blood. They've tasted some blood, and they're continuing to roll it forward. They know that they have this full Uber ad now, and that they have the ability to just keep rolling it forward, and even if it does come to an exchange, they just have to take it.
Like they win, right?
So
like
safe, yep.
It's ridiculous, right? Because now they have like unlimited Uber advantage. They've Ubered now straight on through. They pick up Elikor. They're losing Nubby, which isn't great. But Shock, wait, did Shock get forced with his crits?
I think he did.
No.
I think he tried to crit. He tried to crit at the exact same time that Swift tried to push in. So I think he was planning to, like, you know, snipe him off with a cheeky sticky or something, but it turned out the timing was just slightly too unfortunate, slightly too late, and he effectively used the crits against the Uber. However, they did pick up Seeds towards the tail end of that, so...
I mean, they've got Yard, right? Like, they've got their crit advantage again. Honestly, at this point, you'd got to think maybe Shock should just pick up that Uber gun down there on the floor. Even starting at 0% isn't too bad here, but they seem content with it. They're perfectly happy. 80% now. The stickies from Elikor's going to be picking up Captain, preventing Swift from doing any kind of repush towards mid, which is pretty significant. They're going to get themselves control of this again. But the second they come up on their crits, that call is going to be heard across the entire map, and Swift is going to be hyper aware of it, and then it's going to play inside, sticking all these doorways and building this last little 20% of their Uber.
And obviously Shock is going to be aware that he's going to try to use it as soon as he can, as quickly as he can, to just try and get through. Maybe get just any sort of damage out of his crits. It's going to be enough. Nope, it is not. Unfortunately, they waited too long. The Uber does come out of Seeds, and the crits deal no damage instead of 3 times, so... You're going to be losing Shock, Josh, and Kunu. We're just cleaning up with pipes right now. Going to clean up Elikor as well. Just the Mole and Yeehaw left here. It is disastrous.
Oh my god, they are Christopher Walken at this point. They're just walking through the entire map, just going, you're dead, and you're dead, and you're dead, and you're dead, and don't really care. Just going to keep picking up everything. Shock now mercifully on the Uber, but finding themselves with a 35% disadvantage, and they're not even feeling super comfortable in terms of second. They just about have some people here. this is going to come a lot down to whether they can be in a position to really contest once this Uber comes up. 80% now. You see Swift already moving towards the left-hand side. We do see Demol actually in a pretty good position. Manages to pick up one here on Captain. Gets some good damage as well. Actually threatened a siege as well.
Josh helping him out.
Nuking so much. But how are these Swift players still towards top? And Tiger's just walking forward at the man. He just goes straight into last. He's taking this with 1v1 versus 3 as well. Taking down Shock, and he's still on the back line. Dragon players back. Oh my god, they don't even care. They're just fragging everything. How is it just Elcott? What?
Nabi.
They're all
Nabi
dead.
just...
It's just Josh. Josh is falling, going straight towards wood, but he's straight the wrong way.
What is going on?
Nabi! Nabi!
No!
What?
Oh my lord!
That's incredible!
Nabi just won the round for them.
1 HP! Oh my god!
I'm in awe. I am in awe. I am speechless.
Oh my god.
And that's just how the cookie crumbles.
How is that the way that this game ends? That's insane!
After all that, it's just Nubby walking through and killing people like it's a DM server. Oh god.
Oh my god.
All
okay.
right.
Yeah. Gonna need a minute to recover from that one. That was absolutely insane as a game. That was an absolutely insane game and an insane way to end it. That was nuts.
I think it is reasonable if you wanted to look at the logs, but
I think we need to calm down a minute. Let's look at some hardcore numbers for just a couple seconds here. Numbers won't stress out my poor little heart like that any more than it already is. Let's have a little look at some of the stats here, just from the main game here on Granary before a little golden cap. See if we can find out anything too important here from the numbers. Okay, let's take a little moment here. Obviously, before we even got to the golden cap, like, we had 20 minutes of dominance from Swift, then 10 minutes of dominance from nerdRage, and it's really interesting to see how close it was by the very, very end. A little bit more damage for Swift, a little bit less frags. Ubers were basically equal, and obviously slightly closer in terms of the medics in the Ubers as well. And it's so significant coming down to like these 4 minutes to 3. Like, somehow after getting 3-0 down the first 20 minutes, nerdRage actually win the majority of the mid fights in the regulation time of the map. I feel like that's a significant portion of how they even managed to get it to the golden cap. But then I guess if we can have a quick little look at the golden cap logs as well. I'm not going to be overly surprised to see that Nasboy was putting out some of the big damage. He had some pretty significant frags there. Like, I think there's one moment where he just picked up like 3 or 4 in like quick succession and was just absolutely nuking. Oh, that was crazy.
Lord.
That was crazy.
My
dude.
lord.
You pick out whatever numbers you want at this point. I don't care.
There's a lot to glean. I mean, obviously, yeah, but at the end of the day, they only reflect so much. I do think it's nice to see Seeds got 2 kills during the regular round, but you know, oh lordy, definitely a way closer match. Also, just from looking at the numbers on the logs on Granary there, my lord. Either way, it does appear we have some people willing to be interviewed here, so just skip past that and let people talk, I think.
Yeah, so I believe we have, I don't know if anyone else is going to join us on the side of Swift. I believe we've got Kunu and Yeehor from the side of nerdRage. I'm willing to bet you guys might be in a similar state of shock to me right now in terms of how that ended, but I guess we just back up just a couple seconds before we got to that point and talk a little bit about Granary in general. Obviously, Sunshine was rough, but going into Granary, what was kind of the expectation from you guys? Were you kind of thinking it would be as different as it was in the end, or were you kind of expecting it to be just as rough?
Yeah, well, going in, I kind of thought like, we got to roll on Sunshine, but Grand's a good map for us. So I was thinking maybe, I kind of felt like before the game that they would get 3 rounds and then we would get 3 and then we lose the golden cap. That's what I felt before the game, and I mean, it was right. So
that's a pretty incredible prediction. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I didn't tell anyone. I probably should have done that.
Probably should have put some money on that. obviously, yeah, like it seemed like very much they were in the driving seat for the first 20 minutes. Then you guys have started dominating the mids so much more. You started really able to chain stuff together. Was that like a planned thing where you guys were like, oh yeah, we'll go for a different plan on mids, or we'll go for a different approach to things, or was it just a case that your stuff started working and it just felt like a natural kind of improvement over the game?
I don't know. I think
We started doing the right side mid, and that they seem to have no answer for it.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, like as soon as you like the first one you won, you just went right side and then like had a really strong mid with like the staggered bombs, and you just caught them out completely in choke. And for some reason, you just kept doing it, and it kept working.
Mm.
That was interesting. I think that was like for some reason that was the crux that just broke it for Swift, and you guys were able to actually put down some rounds very quickly. It's still impressive, regardless.
we won in the other match.
I have absolutely no idea.
I don't know. I would have to.
Could be anyone. Could be
Could be anyone. Could be absolutely anyone. Unfortunately, I heard a whisper in my ear, but I said so I didn't hear my whisper. The whisper in my ear is gone now.
Yep, it's not returning ever. Well,
it's all okay. All right. So obviously, in terms of you guys on the side of nerdRage, you had week 1 playing Aura, or what was formerly known as Aura. Week 2, you then played Swift. So I mean, you kind of had a bit of a rough run in terms of the first couple weeks, but obviously going into the rest of the season, it's going to be firmly playoffs in your mindset. Are you kind of thinking that, you know, a couple shaky weeks, but the rest of the season's going to be looking pretty hot for you guys, or is this maybe shaking some confidence, or?
Hopefully it builds confidence.
I don't know. Was that shaky? I got one massive point tonight.
It was a good point, but you know.
I'm perfectly happy, honestly, thus far. I think there's plenty of room to grow, and I think we will. So
yeah, fair enough. Okay. I see a very late interviewee.
The child's here.
The child is here.
It's probably
I guess
classy.
we can. Oh, I don't know if I trust then. Maybe we ditch out the interviews and we just let people get on with the rest of our lives. Surny, you're the guy in charge now. What do you do?
Honestly, I'd say get him in here.
It is the runner because he's verified.
Ah, there you go. We're going to bring Nubby in just for a quick chat for just a second.
Hi.
Obviously on the side of Swift. Hi. Surny, ask some very important and detailed in-depth questions.
How? Okay, like first of all, obviously, congratulations. First map was obviously nuts for you guys. You were absolutely rolling it. But on the second map, halfway through when you started like losing those rounds, it seemed to be the mids that really broke it most of the time. Like, what was going on with the team at that point? Like, why you think it fell out of your hands for a while?
I think we just started to troll after 3-0. Like, I don't think it was like the mates. We just started to like troll and just laugh and mumble, and we just couldn't stop. I think till it was like 3-3.
Yes, that's what I was doing the first half of the game. We didn't lose. I was just trolling. I was just having a laugh.
Yeah. You know what? I ran out of important questions. I'm happy to go to shout outs. Go on. Let's start doing things. Let people get on with the rest of their night. We'll start off with Kuna. Who wants to give some shout outs to?
Shout out to Team and nerdRage for their wonderful support. You guys for the cast and the silent voice that is Beta. That's all.
Fair play. Nubby, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, 1 second. Okay,
Why
so
we fucking go with the
shout
list,
out to
man.
my team: Invis, Barney, Daga, Rio Curing, Dying Sleep 22, Chibe, Defa, Biggs, Tram, Rafi, Carbo, Mattiasi, and Ace. That's it.
That's it. Wow. Fair enough. Yeehaw, any shout outs for you?
No.
Fair enough.
Short and simple, all right?
Short and simple. How about you, Sony?
I got nothing much to say except for the usual, obviously. Shout out to the teams for putting on a great match. It was honestly a blast to watch. You both played out of your minds. It was wonderful. Shout out to everybody watching. Hope you've had an enjoyable time, obviously. And for having us, for hearing us.
Cool. Then yeah, I will just reiterate those points Shout out to the players and the viewers and you production goons, and a big shout out to what's being linked in chat right now, which is Beta's Season 36 demo call. So you want to find yourselves in a sick up-and-coming Beta frag video for this season only, make sure you start submitting some of your demos there. Apart from that, this is going to be everything we've got for you tonight from TFTV, and we'll catch you with some more prom action in the coming few days.